Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to the podcast by Health and Wellness by Aarya. I am Dr. Aditya Patil and I would like to welcome you all. Today we have a very special guest for our podcast, Dr. Umang Yadav. She has done her physiotherapy. After that, she is pursuing her master's in social epidemiology from Tata Institute of Social Services, Mumbai, and she is also a co-founder of her startup Arogyam. So before we come to our today's topic, that is how do we age gracefully or graceful adulting. So what do you mean by graceful adulting, Umang? क्या कहना चाहते हो कि can you please explain simply what does graceful adulting means?
Hello Aditya and hello everyone. Thanks for having me here. So what I mean by graceful adulting or what graceful adulting or aging generally means is that हमारे लाइफ के सारे जो stages हैं वो interlinked हैं. They have a strong connection. Like our childhood experiences have a very important and huge effect on how we behave in our adulthood. हमारे belief systems उसी time set हो जाते हैं. तो अभी जो कमिंग जनरेशन है उनके लिए ये समझना बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है कि whatever sort of habits, whatever sort of belief systems they will have within them, उनकी हेल्थ को लेके, उनकी जनरल लाइफस्टाइल को लेके या उनकी ओवरऑल हाउ दे डू इन देयर लाइफ को लेके जो भी बिलीफ सिस्टम दे ले डाउन फॉर देमसेल्फ वो उनकी पूरी लाइफ आगे के लिए डिसाइड करते हैं. इसमें दो फैक्टर्स आते हैं, एक्सट्रिंसिक और इंट्रिंसिक. एक्सट्रिंसिक फैक्टर्स आई मीन जो बाहर से हमको इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं, जो फैमिली एनवायरनमेंट है, स्कूल का एनवायरनमेंट है, पीयर्स का जो हमारे ऊपर इम्पैक्ट है. और एक इंट्रिंसिक मोटिवेशन भी होता है, लाइक एट टाइम्स एवरीथिंग अराउंड अस इज गोइंग रॉन्ग एंड वी स्टिल कीप ऑन गोइंग. तो आई जस्ट read this quote somewhere that the idea is to stay grateful when things are going my way and to stay graceful when things are not going my way. So वो जो एक internal persistence है, that is a very huge part of graceful adulting, and it has a lot of impact on our life, which everyone will get to know by the end of this talk.
Okay, that's beautifully explained, Umang. But you have explained what this graceful adulting means. But why do you think that we need to talk more about in country like India, where there is a lot of young population, जहाँ पे young population है, so why do we think that we need to know how to grow gracefully? Because lot of people are unaware that we can grow gracefully, or just they are growing physically, not in mental sense. So why do you think that it is necessary for people like us?
So rightly asked. I mean, I am thankful for this question first of all. क्योंकि इंडिया में यंग पॉपुलेशन ज्यादा है और क्योंकि बाय द टाइम विल मूव वो अडल्टिंग की तरफ या एजिंग की तरफ they keep on moving, right? That is why it is important to understand that what exactly graceful adulting is and why it is important. हम कोविड से पहले कभी प्रिवेंटिव हेल्थ की बात भी नहीं करते थे इतना इजीली. नाउ this preventive health thing is somewhat or somewhere part of daily households. उससे पहले हम बात भी नहीं करते थे. So it took us a pandemic to realize that how preventive things or how prevention is better than cure. That way, right? Important इसलिए है क्योंकि हमारी कंट्री में अगर हम इंडिकेटर्स की बात करें तो लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी रैपिडली इंक्रीज हुआ है ओवर द इयर्स, which is a good thing. Medically we are progressing, but at the same time जो quality of life है वो बहुत deteriorate हुआ है. non communicable diseases का जो burden है वो बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ रहा है over the time, and we keep on saying that India is suffering from dual burden of disease. Epidemiological transition हो रहा है, communicable से non communicable की तरफ we are moving. So जब life expectancy बढ़ रहा है, that is one achievement, but at the same time we have to make sure कि जो वो एज बढ़ रहा है उसका क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ डिटोरिएट नहीं होना चाहिए, और वो हम एकदम से जो एजेड हो गए हैं उनको नहीं समझा सकते हैं। लाइक अ 60-year-old मेल और फीमेल, यू कैन नॉट गो एंड टेल देम कि नहीं अभी से आप अपनी सारी हैबिट्स चेंज कर लो। सो इट इज अ प्रोसेस एंड इट नीड्स टू बी कल्टिवेटेड, राइट? सो व्हाइल कल्टिवेटिंग दिस प्रोसेस इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू नो अबाउट इट। आई मीन नॉर्मली पीपल आर नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट इट। बहुत ज्यादा हम लोग रेगुलर जो मिड लाइफ क्राइसिस हैं और जो हसल्स हैं हमारी लाइफ के, जस्ट टू मेंटेन और बिल्ड दैट लाइफस्टाइल materialistically, we are too much engaged in that. So for that matter it is important to understand that at every step there are some processes to be followed which will leave you in the next stage of life in a better way or in a good way.
So as you said, Umang, that people are not living quality life. There are some comorbidities that they have to live with as they are growing up. So what are your changes, lifestyle changes you will suggest that how people can age gracefully? Well, that is what our today's topic is and main question is. So what are the lifestyle changes you will suggest so that these people will age gracefully?
So I mean these are very simple steps. It is not a rocket science. We need not to spend a lot of money on it. It is not something very fancy. In fact, it might seem boring to so many of people around there, but it is very important. I would stress upon the fact that it is really, really important. Number one, I would say that embracing the change is very important. Like I have seen people, सबकी लाइफ में कुछ ना कुछ मिसिंग होता है हर स्टेज पे, at times responsibilities की वजह से कोई अपना youth अच्छे से enjoy नहीं कर पाता है. The things he or she wanted to do at that time वो नहीं हो पाता है, या कभी कभी intergenerational curses की वजह से parent child relationship disturbed होता है, तो वो सारी चीजें नहीं मिल पाती हैं. अब वो स्टेज लाइफ का निकल गया है, लाइक दैट फेज इज गॉन. ठीक है, क्योंकि क्रोनोलॉजिकल टर्म्स में लाइफ इज नॉट गोइंग टू स्टॉप, राइट? आपका 14 to 20 वाला जो फेज था दैट हैज गॉन. नाउ यू आर इन 20s and you have to act like a 20-year-old or a 25-year-old or whatsoever your age is. So it is very important to embrace at whatever point you are learning that what exactly graceful aging is, right? अब अगर एक 40-year-old इंडिविजुअल एक 20-year-old की तरह एक्ट करेगा जस्ट बिकॉज कि उसको उस टाइम पे वो ग्रूमिंग नहीं मिली, सो पूरा आगे का साइकिल, पीछे का तो डिस्टर्ब था ही, आगे वाला साइकिल भी डिस्टर्ब हो जाएगा. सो एम्ब्रेसिंग और एक्नॉलेजिंग दैट ग्रेसफुल एजिंग इज अ थिंग, जो मिस हो गया आप उसको एक्नॉलेज करके कंपैशनेटली लेट गो करके आगे के स्टेजेस पे ध्यान दो, इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, इट इज अ वेरी इंडिविजुअल प्रोसेस, वेरी पर्सनल प्रोसेस, very gender specific process, I would say.
Okay, I will come back to that. That was my next question, Umang. That you have said that means aging is very individual or gender specific. You can say it is a very individual question. So as we see in teenage years, we see that the growth changes, behavioral changes or biological changes that are taking place in males and females are quite different. So there has to be a different approach to address the issues while aging differently. Simultaneously, both in males and females, we need to identify them and address them simultaneously. But how do we be specific? What are the specific changes you would suggest in females or males at particular age group that they can take care of?
Okay, so number 1, even if it is gender specific, both the genders needs to be highly sensitive and highly respectful towards the changes which are occurring. And it is not only about life partners, it is about friends, it is about siblings. 2 siblings, 1 male, 1 female, growing in the same household needs to have that respect for each other, the kind of changes they are going through. And it needs utmost amount of awareness, at the same time acknowledgement. Okay, Like if you talk about gender specific, so अगर हम teenage से start करते हैं, because that is the age जहाँ से we start grooming ourselves, the personality starts forming and personality formation occurs over the years, right? So teenage में biologically if I talk about, period talk has to be there. Period has to happen, everybody knows. No male is unaware about that thing, right? But it is still hidden, like it is still taken. We still have to carry our sanitary napkins in that black polythene. We're still living in that world. So now people have started talking a bit about it, but still there is a long way to go. At the same time, even if people have started talking a bit about it, we are still talking on external front, like only on what is happening to the body. But we are not focusing on how the mind gets transitioned for a girl who's just a girl going to play outside and doing everything a kid used to do, and suddenly going through this process which has to occur every month, right? So mind is equally important, and to address that issues, to know that someone is there for her is very important. Okay. At the same time, when I'm talking about mind, the male body also changes in a certain way. The erectile functioning or behavioral and psychological impact, body consciousness, voice changing, a lot of things, pubertal changes, what we call, happens. And just because nothing is happening to them that way, in a metabolic way or in a process way, like with girls happen, the male sensitization during puberty is highly ignored. I mean, we don't address that, and they've been told that they need to be strong all the time. They need to behave a certain way every time. They become emotionally suppressed from that very period of their life, which is detrimental to them. And usi ki wajah se you will see male depression is very much underreported, and they're even going like the number of heart attacks, if I say, are more in young males, mid-age males these days, because that stress stays with them. We don't teach them that they need to talk about their problems. So that was the teenage thing. Then when we cross that age and we are entering into our working or into a life where we are going for higher studies, we have different sort of problems. We have competition with our peers. Our friend circle becomes selective, right? And we find it difficult to talk about. We find it very irritating. Like I have kind of read people's Instagram bios that who said adulting was easy and adulting sucks. So that comes from a very agitated mind कि नहीं यार बड़ा होना तो बुरा ही है, बचपन ही अच्छा था, sort of a thing. तो उस टाइम पे बहुत जरूरी हो जाता है अपने लिए लाइफस्टाइल लेना, to get rid of that guilt कि मैं अपने लिए कुछ कर रहा हूँ तो वो गलत है, मैं selfishly तो behave नहीं कर रहा हूँ. You need to have your own time. You need to unwind physically, mentally, both. And you need to tell yourself constantly that you're not part of any race. Today or tomorrow you'll do your thing. And kuch na kuch is a solid hona apart from your profession, apart from the kind of friends you have, jisko karke you might feel happy. At the same time, nutritional aspect if I have to talk about, ये जो एज होता है ये आज के टाइम में बहुत ज्यादा एज ऑफ इग्नोरेंस हो गया है. एक तरफ हम अपनी एक्सटर्नल बॉडी को लेके बहुत ज्यादा कॉन्शियस हैं, तो वी आर रिलाइंग अ लॉट ऑन सिंथेटिक प्रोटीन कंजम्पशन, जिमिंग. एट द सेम टाइम क्योंकि इतनी मीटिंग्स लाइंड अप होती हैं, असाइनमेंट्स होते हैं, एवरीथिंग, वी आर जस्ट इग्नोरिंग द काइंड ऑफ मील्स एंड एट व्हाट टाइम व्हाट टू ईट व्हाट नॉट टू ईट सॉर्ट ऑफ अ थिंग. घर पे होते थे या मम्मी खाने का ध्यान रख रही होती थी, थिंग्स वर डिफरेंट. But now at times 2 meals a day, 1 meal a day, or even if 3 meals a day, the nutritional quantity is not appropriate. I have also read this, India is the most overfed but undernourished country. So we keep on eating, but what we are eating is not paid attention to. तो ये इस एज में बहुत ज्यादा होता है, जिसके repercussions हमको late 30s में या early 30s में भी at times, we have to feel or we have to go through, and then we again crib about it. So it is a process. One slot, one time period of your life is affecting other. This is a cycle, I would say.
Okay. Very beautifully explained, Umang. So as we are growing up, like you said, that people face a lot of stress or anxiety, and nowadays it is very common to have means some or other person I read somewhere yesterday only. I read that according to Nimhan's survey, 10.2% people from our country, they require some kind of medical assistance, or they are into some drug abuse. And apart from that, we see there are rising incidents of suicide cases. So I think it is due to people's inability to handle the failures. Means they are unable to take the failures, deal with the failures. And what will you suggest to such people who are who are not in a well state of mind? They're not in a good state of mind. And I think that is also an important part of a graceful adulting, that we should have a right state of mind.
Yeah, that is the most important part of graceful adulting, because if you are not mentally good, if you are not feeling good inside, you cannot deal with things gracefully, be it anything. Okay, you'll always be agitated. The thing you mentioned about the statistics, the report you read, statistically what I found is that every third Indian, whether getting treated or not getting treated, is suffering from mental health issues. Be it anything, be it a psychiatric part, the depression, anxiety or everything, or be it the neurological part. Okay, and there are so many reasons, starting it from the hereditary reasons to the aggravating factors to the disturbed childhood, post-traumatic stress disorders. There is a long list of that. So the thing people say about it, that there is a lot of stigma, and like people don't talk. People are talking about it now we are in changing times. People do talk about it, but what we are not focusing on is the intervention, right? Like two friends will talk, one is not feeling easy, the other one will still tell ki haan tu hai, like you are facing anxiety or you are facing depression, but it is okay, you'll get better. I mean, it is not taken as something which is an illness, which can be an illness. I don't know. I mean, it is really shocking. People have done their MD in psychiatry, in neurology. So it has some purpose, Taking someone to doctor, to their known one, to their family member, to a psychiatrist is still a very big thing. People don't consider that as a choice to get treated. So that is one thing. We are talking about it. Stigma is now kind of reduced, but we are not doing anything about it. So intervention part is very important. The other thing you mentioned about failure, I think it again comes from a very weak foundation we have. We in schools we are taught about numerous subjects, okay? Physics, chemistry, biology, history, political science, commerce, and everything. We have most advanced courses in our country to pursue careers, but we have never been told how to love yourself, or how to tell yourself that what exactly your boundaries are. How to study, we have never been told. We never had that class, right? So that weakness or that thing comes from the very weak foundation people had, especially our generation. Like, because we are now grown up, so we cannot go back to that period where we have not been taught. So I think the coming generation, or when our generation will become parents, we should focus more on the building emotional resilience among children, rather than just pushing them to pursue a certain sort of a goal that we want. And for our generation, I can say the first point I'll keep on repeating, we don't have any other option apart from embracing it beautifully and telling ourselves that it's okay. The later it comes, but finally it came. Now the discussion is in light. So let's just come, embrace it, and start a journey from here. Like we'll build ourselves so that we can build our upcoming generation as well.
Beautifully explained, Umang. Then coming to the means it is the last question I think, and it is very relevant because large number of population that is still living in this country, they are the old age population, and they have already aged, and not in a manner like you have said before. Means now they are already in a certain phase of their life where they cannot make some drastic changes, but still can you suggest some of the changes to such people, means who are already aged and they are facing their own issues like loneliness or insecurity at such age? So how can these people address their issues?
Aditya, I think like that is whatever I've experienced, read, or whatever a bit of practice I have done as a physiotherapist. I think that that loneliness cannot be completely eradicated, but it can be managed. And there is a huge role of a family they are living with. Okay, even if the family, like even if their children are not living with them, the emotional connect matters. Other thing I would say that this old age population should highly rely upon their peer groups. It is very important for them to have certain same aged people where they can discuss their biological problems, because when they'll discuss about the problems, that age group is really very smart. They'll directly come upon the solution after few discussions. Like they'll directly come upon some ayurvedic oil or some exercise or some doctor that has treated some of their mate that way. At the same time, it is very important that with love we can tell them that it is immensely important to take care of their diet. I mean, they can eat everything, but in a limit. I mean, it is very important that way. They need to adhere to their medicine regime if there is any. And one thing I forgot to mention when I was talking about embracing an adulting thing. So in India, we have this culture. We go to doctor only when something symptomatically appears, right? I have seen so many emergency cases rushing to the hospital when I was doing my internship, or even when I was doing my home visits as well. So it has increased the hospital admission by many folds, and curative care is overburdened, whereas preventive care is still not mainstream, right? Making regular health checkups, even if you're doing fine, should be part of your life. As you crave for vacations, as you crave for different leisure activities, you should have a specific time, like okay, within 3 months I'll go for these checkups, a full body checkup, where you can get to know that how exactly your body is doing. Because when you know that your body is nourished, when your body is doing good, you'll feel motivated, and there will be one less reason to feel mentally devastated. Body checkups are really needed, especially those who can economically afford it. And there are so many discounts, so many companies are giving if you are their regular customers. So it should be part of it. We spend a lot on so many things which are actually not a need but a luxury. So we should include it as a need, I would say. It is part of graceful adulting.
So thank you, Umang. That was for today. I hope this podcast will help lot of people. There are a lot of teenagers, young people, old age people in our country, and I hope it will be beneficial to all of them. So, and we'll love to have you back on our channel. We'll definitely we'll invite you on some other topic back on our channel. Till then, stay tuned, and for more podcasts like this, you can subscribe to our channel, and you can like and share it with your friends as well.
Sure, Aditya, I'll do that, and it was an honor to do that. I have just started Aarogyam 6 months back, and it is still in a very initial phase. I am approaching people, to test my services and all. And on that note, I got this opportunity. So I'm really grateful, and I would be really glad to be part of any of your initiative, to be part of providing rehabilitation services wherever needed by Aarya. That is your organization. And I am also promoting community rehabilitation by my own initiative. So I hope if something like that comes and we can, coordinate and collaborate on the same. Thank you for having me once again.
Thank you, Umang.
Uh,
All the best.
Same to you, Aditya.